Hi there and welcome to the MadebyJo Crafty Podcast. This is episode 15, I think. You're joining me. Oh, I've got fluff in my mouth already. Oh, that was nasty. We'll start again. Hi there and welcome to episode 15 of the MadebyJo Crafty Podcast. My name is Jo. I'm a knitter, sewer and crocheter based in Fife in Scotland, and this is my little podcast to talk to you about what I've been working on recently. It's been about 3 weeks since my last episode, which is longer than I intended, but I have just been really busy trying to get some things done. And if I'm honest, I've had a little bit of a mental health wobble in the last couple of weeks, so I haven't been feeling my best and I didn't want to jump in front of a camera when I was feeling like that. So a couple things before we start. If you can hear my dog smacking his lips, he's just had his breakfast, so he's sitting staring at me thinking, why are you talking to the abyss, mum? So if you can hear him, I apologise. I am also filming downstairs again today because it is early doors and this is the only place that you get decent lighting first thing in the morning, so apologies. And I do also have my candle on up there because it is definitely feeling like autumn. It's Friday the 13th of September today. It is freezing, so I wanted it to feel a little bit cozy, but if it flickers like it's doing just now, please try and ignore it, I apologise, but I wanted it to be a little bit cozy for me. Today's episode, we have a lot of finished objects, and I will explain why in a minute. We have the same sort of usual whips that we've had for a while, my long-standing whips, and we have a lot more acquisitions than I thought when I came to film this morning. So I'm not going to take too long introducing everything because we've got a lot to cover, so I will just get straight on into it with finished objects. Now, the reason I have a lot of finished objects is because I have been on a gift knitting kick. I have been so inspired to gift knit. I've been so inspired by accessories. It's all I've wanted to knit recently, and I'm leaning into that because last year they're got to sort of end November, beginning of December, and I did not want to work on my gift knits at all. So I started these in August, most of them, and I thought, oh, this is very early to start gift knits, but you know, I'm rolling with it and I'm enjoying the process. So I'm going to start with them. I think all of the finished objects bar one are gift knits. So let me show you the one that is not, and this is one that you saw last time. So last time I was working on my first ever pair of DK weight socks and I completed them. This is what they look like, my little pair. As per my last video, I'm not blocking socks, so they look a little bit rogue on here because I haven't brought a sock blocker down to show you. But these are 3x1 rib socks in the colour Hollow Mint by Wildflower Yarn. I decided I was going to fully let these do their thing and pull wherever they wanted to around the heel. So I do have some pulling. Let me shove my hand in here to show you. So on the sort of bridge of the foot on this one, I've got some really bright colourful pulling. And then on the second sock, I have a big green section and the colourful pulling is actually on the foot. I've decided that these socks are going to be in the house, comfortable house socks. So I wasn't fussed about the pulling because I'm not sure I have the confidence in DK weight socks to wear them outside of the house just now. So these are going to be more like slipper socks. They're also going to be like slipper socks because I knit the foot too small. I, again, said this is my first ever pair, so I didn't know quite what I was doing in terms of length and how long my toe would be and everything like that. So they are slightly snug on the foot, which will make them fine for slipper socks, but I'll adjust that if I make DK weight socks in the future, which I think I will. I followed the Crazy Sock Ladies DK weight sock pattern. I just implemented the 3x1 rib onto that, and then did a 3x1 rib heel just to keep the ribbing going all the way down at the back there, and then just did a heel flap and gusset and a regular toe. So these are my first finished object. They were a whip in the last episode and they really didn't take me very long to complete at all. So that is finished object number one. I'm trying to do these in order, but it's difficult to remember which order I did them in. These, I'm actually not going to do them in order, I've changed my mind. The second set of finished objects is a little trio of finished objects that I've finished over the last 3 weeks. And these were entirely inspired by gift knitting, thinking about things I could do for friends and colleagues that wouldn't take up too much time. And I'm intending on doing a video of all of my gift knits. I have been filming that separately and talking through the process, how long it takes me, how much it cost, all of that sort of fun stuff. So that will be coming probably in October, but that also is why I've been working on so many gift knits. But one of the things that came up, and one of the things I really wanted to do last year and then didn't do, was decorations. I knit myself one star decoration last year, loved it, was obsessed with it on my Christmas tree, but I never knit mini jumpers. And one night, for some reason, I was just really inspired to knit a mini jumper, and so I cast one on. And this is him! I had my scrap bag down from upstairs, and I thought, well, I'm going to cast on a little mini jumper. So this is the little mini guy. I followed very loosely a free pattern on Ravelry. I can't remember the name, but I will try and find it. I think I might have saved it in my favourites, and I'll post it underneath the video. But if you have a basic understanding of how to knit a raglan jumper, you can do this. I knit mine on DPNs, and this is fingering weight held double. So this yarn, I think this is a cami yarn, but it came out of my scrap bag, so I'm not entirely sure. But it used less than 5 grams, this tiny little guy. And he's got a little ribbed bottom, little ribbed sleeve cuffs, and I just think he's adorable. So once I knit this little man, I decided I wanted to try a different type of jumper. So I used this yarn, which again I believe is oh no, it's not fingering weight held double. Maybe this is a slightly thicker yarn from Stash. And I wanted to see if I could make it slightly bigger, because this one is lovely, but it's tiny. So I then cast on this guy, which is slightly bigger. So this little guy is just, again, I'm not going to name all of the yarns because I don't know them, because they all came out of my scrap bin. But it's a small DK weight white yarn that I used, and then I duplicate stitched a little Christmas tree on there because I really wanted to see if I could get that done. So this little guy, again, took me an hour or something one evening, and it's just amazing. I love this one. This one's also quite special to me because I dipped into my granny, who I mentioned last time passed away during COVID. I used her bead stash. She used to make cards, she used to make jewellery, and she was incredibly creative, and I got some of her beads recently, and so I popped some of them on my little Christmas tree here, and I just think that they're so cute. So that's my second one of my little tiny jumpers. And then about a week later I was inspired again to make another one, and I had some of this yarn, so I do know what this one is. This is by a homespun house. It is the most wonderful time of the year colourway from their sock set advent last year, and this is just another little plain jumper, and I just think these are adorable. And because they're decorations, I've just shoved the ends inside them, so I haven't had to worry about ends. And when it comes to gifting, I would crochet a little hook to go on a tree branch or something similar. So these kind of, can I put them all on my fingers? They kind of go up in size. Let me see. So I've got my first little guy who was dinky, then I've got this guy who was medium, and then I've got my large one. But I didn't actually write down what I did for any of these, so when it comes to doing them again, I'll just have to guess. So this is my little trio. Hopefully you can see these all right. My little trio of mini jumpers. And I love them. So cute. Like I say, it took less than an hour, I think, in most of them. And I think I'm going to be making a lot of these this year. Okay, what did I do next? Okay, this one is a firm favourite. I am a big fan of Laura Penrose. I am on Laura Penrose's Patreon, and I've had the Maxine hot water bottle cover in my Ravelry queue for a long time. And then when I was inspired to be gift knitting, I thought the Maxine is a great gift knit because you don't have to worry about size. You're not trying to fit it to someone's body or work out what they would like to wear. You can just make something for them in some of their favourite colours and gift it to them at Christmas time. So this is a gift for one of my colleagues. I am not worried that they watch this, so it's absolutely fine to show. But I made them a Maxine hot water bottle cover, and I'm obsessed with this thing. It is so freaking cute, and you'll see how obsessed I am in a minute. But I knit this in, again, all different types of scraps. The main colour is some plain undyed yarn that I got from the undyed yarn company that I buy from when I was going to dye some yarn up. Some of these minis, the brighter purple one is Beehive Yarns, a mini from her. This yellow I got in a yarn swap, no idea what it is. This green that's running through, that's the Wonderful Time of the Year colour again. And this light purple is the colour I used for my pom-pom shawl, which again is Wildflower Yarns in the colour Ethereal, I think. So I think that's most of them. And I can't remember what this purpley one is. I think I might have got it in a yarn advent swap last year. So this is what it looks like. And I am really obsessed with it, if I'm honest. So obsessed with it. Like I said, this is a gift for a friend. I will be making one for myself. A big one for myself, because I just think it's amazing and a really good gift knit. So again, this will be a lot more information will be in the video about gift knitting that I'm going to do, so look out for that. But I have been knitting on this and I am just obsessed with it. Really obsessed with it. Every time I've had it in a bag next to my chair to try and keep it nice, like, so obviously it's still a while till Christmas, and I've just like taken it out for the video and I think it's awesome. So huge fan. Great pattern, would highly recommend. And it's really good to use up scraps. Like I say, all of them except the main colour were scraps, or 20 gram minis, and so it's such a good way to get some of that stuff out of your stash if you have a lot. And I'm a really big fan of the Maxine. I am going to keep going in chronological order. I feel like I'm bashing through these, but these are all small accessories, and like I say, there is going to be an entire video out on them, so I'm giving you the sort of baseline information because a lot more info is going to come out in that video. But all of my finished objects this week are these sort of mini accessory gift knits, so I'll probably spend more time on my whips than I will finished objects this week. I hope that's okay with you guys. But my next finished object, again, is for a colleague at work, and it was a stash buster, and they're amazing, and it's these gorgeous mittens. So I'll hold up one. This is the World's Simplest Mitten pattern by Tin Can Knits, which is a free pattern on Ravelry, and I knit mine in, again, scraps that I had left over. The main colour is Nervous Fibers Brittle Gill, and the Suri, I held mine one strand merino and one strand Suri silk, and the Suri silk is also from Nervous Fibers in the colour Shore, I believe. So again, these are a gift knit, and I'm obsessed with them. Really obsessed with them. Let me put it on. Let me see if I can show you. So this is what they look like on. Adorable. This free pattern is really good. I've knit them before. I knit a pair last year for myself, loved them, wore them all the time. Actually don't know where they are right now, which, considering it's about to get very cold, I should probably find them. But I would highly recommend this pattern. It not only has multiple sizes from child to adult, but it also has multiple weights, so everything from fingering up to worsted or chunky it has. I think chunky, because I think my last pair were chunky. So really versatile pattern, really good to knit. I'm hoping to make a second pair of these for another friend, and I actually just found a video online, and I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he shows you how to convert them into convertible mittens. So use the pattern to make sort of fingerless mitts, and then have the bit that flips over to make it a full mitten, which I'm thinking might be a perfect gift for one of my friends who has a dog. The one thing about my mittens from last year is that when I'm walking Albie, I quite often need to unclip him from his lead or something similar, and I can't do that with the mittens. So I think a convertible mitten could be a great gift knit as well. So I'm going to try his hack that he put on YouTube for that. but it is a free pattern. I would really recommend it. These really didn't take very long to work up. I think they're really luxe because of that Suri silk in there. They do, I don't know how to show this, but if you can't see it already, they do have a halo. They're really soft. So I'm really looking forward to gifting these to her, and I think she's really gonna like them. If it was me, I would do a bright colour, but these aren't for me, and she's a neutral girly, so that's why we made them in a neutral colour, but I think I might make myself another pair in a bright colour from my stash. And my final FO is the mini Maxine hot water bottle cover. Now, there is an end sticking out from the bottom of this, so just ignore that. As I mentioned, I am a patron of Laura Penrose, and she did, I don't know what she called it, like a pre-knit or something similar. Because the Maxine hot water bottle has been tested, she didn't need to test the mini version of the pattern. It's been tech edited, and so she offered her patrons the opportunity to sort of pre-knit the pattern and then just highlight anything that comes up, and I didn't find anything, so I didn't need to highlight anything. But I've made the, I'm trying to hide that string from you, but I have made the mini Maxine hot water bottle cover, and I was really inspired. For anyone that's not seen it, Laura did a large one in these sizes, in these colours, sorry, when she first released the pattern last year, and I loved it, but I just never got around to knitting it. And then when I saw the mini, I thought, this isn't going to take me very long, I'm gonna do this. This took me less than an evening. No, all of it took me an evening, and then I did a collar the next morning. This is entirely made out of scraps. These scraps are Drops Merino Extra Fine, because that's what I had in the Christmassy colours, and it's just amazing. I really, really love it. I think it's great, such a good pattern. And this is the 3 colour option. So the pattern gives you charts for the 6 colour option and the 3 colour option. As you can see, the charts are the same. The mini doesn't have this big long one because of the size, but the charts are the same. She just tells you how to use the colours, to use 3 or 6 colours. So now I've knit one with 6 colours and one with 3 colours, and I love them both. This one is for me. So far, I might gift it in the future if I need an extra gift knit, but so far it's for me for Christmas time. I managed to get a red mini hot water bottle, so I think that works really well, because I, with this yarn, I did get a little bit of gapping on the sort of shoulder of the hot water bottle, but because the actual water bottle is red, it's not a problem. And you'll see in my whips, but I'm also doing another one of these, and it's been rectified in the pattern, so that is not a problem at all for me. Again, if it's for me, it's not a problem. And if I was to gift it, I would just go in with some of my leftover yarn and tighten that up like post. I would just go through and tighten it up with a little needle. But I think I'm going to keep it because I love it and I love Christmas. And sorry, I'm saying the C word in September, I know, sacrilege, but I love the festive season, and this just gave me all the joy. So this is my final finished object, and it's the mini Maxine hot water bottle by Laura Penrose. So when I said I was on a gift knitting kick, and you probably thought, oh yeah, how many gift knits can you really do? That's 1, 2, 3, 4 plus a pair of DK weight socks, which could be a good gift knit as well. So potentially 5 gift knits that I have done in the last 3 weeks. I've been really loving projects that only take me an hour or like an evening or 2 evenings, because a lot of my whips, which you're about to see, are long term. They've been on the needles a long time, and I think that's like I needed the dopamine of finishing some things, which is why I've then cast on a million accessories, I think. But I'll get into it and I'll show you my long-term whips, or my projects that I'm working on at the moment. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 whips to go through with you. And I'm going to start, as I always do, with my socks. So I have 2 pairs of socks to show you. One is my September socks. I'm knitting a pair of socks for every month this year, and I've cast on my September ones. And one is a pair of socks that's been on the needles forever. These socks, so back in like early this year, I want to say February or March, I had the thought that there's only 10 people within my work like within the business I work in. And I thought, oh, 10 pairs of socks, that's not very many. I could knit 10 pairs of socks. And then very swiftly realised that when I'm not knitting socks for myself, or when I'm knitting socks but I don't know if the person's going to really love them or whatever, I'm just not motivated at all to work on them. So I cast these on in March time, I think, and they are still not done. I'm still on the first sock. So I swiftly binned that idea, which is now why I'm starting to think of other gift knits that I could potentially do, like those mini jumpers that take me less than an hour and it's a really good gift, a small gift to give the people you work with. So these have been on the needles a long time. The only reason they came out this week is because I all of a sudden realised I did not have a single basic stockinette project, and I had some meetings that I wanted a stockinette project to work on. And I've also been doing a lot of travelling this week where I've had to sit in car parks and things, so I took this with me in case I wanted to knit on something. In here is my sock. Do I have the label? No, that's great. This is the yarn I'm using. I think it's Zigzag by King Cole. I got it from my mum because that's the other thing. When I was thinking about gift knitting and thinking about making 10 pairs, I wasn't that keen on gift knitting hand-dyed yarn to my colleagues, and it's nothing to do with, like, I really get on with a lot of my colleagues, but gifting someone hand-dyed yarn means that you're expecting them to upkeep it a certain way, and I didn't want to gift someone something that has to have washing instructions, so I wanted to use a commercial yarn that's easy to go in the washing machine. So Zigzag by King Cole, my mum had some, so I thought before I, instead of committing to buying the 10 balls and then being like, crap, I've got 10 balls of this that I now know would never have knit up, I borrowed this one from my mum, and I'm really glad I did because obviously this plan faded very quickly. So I don't have the colourway for this, but it's Zigzag by King Cole. And this is where we have gotten to in the 5 months that this sock has been on the needle. This is a vanilla sock with 2x2 rib cuff. I cast on, this was going to be for a gentleman, so I cast on 72 stitches in 2x2 rib, and then I just worked the leg, and then this last week I actually did the heel flap and heel turn, and I'm just on the gusset now. But as you can see, that's also stumped me because now I'm on the decreases, and I have wanted to knit this when I've been watching things or on meetings and I don't really want to be paying attention. So I really need to whiz my way through the gusset so that it's back to just being stockinette, but I haven't done that yet either. So these, you can tell, are such a long-term whip that I'm still using my Knit Pro Symphony needles. I almost exclusively now use Chow-Gu, but I didn't have Chow-Gu needles when I started this project, or I didn't have sock needles or enough sock needles. So I think that's also putting me off knitting these because I'm not a big fan of the wooden needles, particularly with this sort of rougher, commercially dyed yarn. I think this is, it just says 75% wool, I think, which could mean any type of wool, which means it's not soft. It feels hard wearing, but it's not soft. And then the 25% nylon, I think, is the mix. But again, I don't have the ball band, so I can't really remember. But yeah, there's not much to say about this other than I knit a 70 row leg, I think. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, yeah. A 70 row leg, and then I started the heel flap and gusset. And that's it. I've now decided this is not going to be a gift for my colleagues. It's going to be a pair of socks for Angus because he loves hand knit socks. Oh, that's the fish man. I usually get fish, but we're going away this weekend, so we won't need it. I hope he doesn't wait for me. Anyway, what was I saying? Angus loves hand knit socks. My mum, way before I knit, my mum knit hand knit socks, and at one point she knit a pair that were just way too big for anyone else. And then when Angus and when my mum started to see Angus wear some that I'd knit, she gifted them to him, and he wears them all the time. I made the Stephen West mystery sock knit along last year, and I made them for Angus. He wears those socks all of the time. So between his 2 pairs of hand knit socks that fit him well, he wears them sort of non-stop. I've made him a couple of other pairs that one of them is too big and one of them actually doesn't, I don't know if he knows where they are, but one of them is currently lost. One of them is slightly too big, but the two pairs that do fit him really well, he wears all the time. So he's definitely sock worthy, and I think he'd like these sort of vanilla plain socks. So I am going to gift these to him. You might be thinking, Jo, 2 episodes ago, you showed us goose socks for Angus. I know, I have not picked up the second one. I have not started knitting on it. I have so many colourwork projects on the go, which you're about to see, and those socks are just not inspiring me right now, so I haven't done them. Angus is not in any rush. It would be great to give him them, but I'm just gonna see when it inspires me to do it. The theme for this episode is going with what inspires you. I've been picking up things when I've wanted to pick them up and not really restricting myself, because for a while I was like, no, I can't work on that until I've gone to this section on this jumper, and that just was ruining my knitting experience. So I've been going with the flow and picking up things that make me happy, or necessity things when I've had meetings, which is those socks. I've got a really itchy nose, apologies. My second pair is in my Joy to Stitch bag, which means it is my monthly sock pair, and I have 1 fully complete sock. Since the last episode, I joined, on a sort of last minute decision, joined the Summerlee Knit Co Colourwork Cuff Club. I decided to take part. Summerlee has created a Colourwork Cuff Club that when I purchased on Ravelry, it was $12, so I think just over £10 in GBP. So it was less than a pound per chart or per colourwork sock, because it's a 12-month subscription-y thing that you pay one off and you get for 12 months a colourwork chart that you can use on a pair of socks. I feel like I described that really badly, but if you're intrigued by that concept, you can have a look on Ravelry. I'll link it below. And also Summerlee's pages on social media have good descriptions on it. But I didn't knit the August ones because I didn't buy this until August the 31st, but I did knit the September ones, or I am knitting the September ones. So the September Colourwork Cuff Club pattern was this, it's almost like a tartan check pattern, and she had 2 options. If you were making a long sock, she had just the colourwork cuff, or she had the option to do it entirely on the foot, and I decided to do the whole sock in this checked pattern, and I wanted to do something Halloweeny. I know it's September, but I was inspired by this pattern to make something a little bit Halloweeny, so I went for these crazy colours. I think I've been really bad and not picked up the ball bands for any of these, which is not ideal. But the main colour, which is this top colour here that I used for the cuff and for the background, is this zebra yarn. It's called Sea Urchin, but I cannot remember the name of the dyer, so I will put it on the screen or in the description below. And I got this as my main skein as part of the Creabea Scrappy Advent swap last year. This is the main skein that I got from my yarn swap partner, and it's in the colour Sea Urchin, and it's adorable. So I really loved that, and I thought because it was black and white and purple and orange, it was giving spooky Halloween. The dark purple, which is the little squares, and what I used for the heel is this colour, which is Dystopic Fibre, I think. I don't know the name of the colour because I got this from Venetia of the Woolly Worker. We swapped over some leftovers, and she gave me a 100-gram skein because she's far too nice. So this is her 100-gram skein that I'm using for the small checks, because I thought I could use it for the small checks and for the heels and then still get a full pair of socks out of these. So that is the little check colour, and you can actually see it really well if I show up the heel. You can see the beautiful variegation in it as well. And then the bright green, which is in here, is by Giddy Yarns. This is part of her Rainbow Sock Club, where you get 5 minis every month, and this was one of the green ones that I picked out that I thought went best. And then the final colourway, and there's a lot of colours in these socks, was what I did for the toe. And I wanted, when I knit the purple heel, I thought I want to really pull in that orange, because not much of the orange has come through on the actual sock. So I wanted to bring in that orange, because that to me is a Halloween colour as well. So again, this is, oh, is it? Yeah, this is a 20-gram mini from Giddy Yarns as well. And this was just one of the orange colours that came in that set. I'm pretty sure the green is one too, although now I'm second guessing myself that the green might have been something different. Oh, I think the green is, so I think the green didn't come from Giddy Yarns. I think the green came from one of my Myth and Magic sock clubs from Wildflower Yarn. That's what it was. It came as a contrast to one of the sock sets we received recently, and I took it from that. So apologies, got that wrong. But again, things to say about this. I knit a 1x1 cuff on this. I did 64 stitches is my usual. So unless it told me to do something different for the colour work, I did 64 stitches. And then I followed the colour work chart, and I just followed the instructions exactly. This is an afterthought heel, which I'll get onto in a minute. And then you just do the chart all the way down and then do a normal toe. Things to mention. At the beginning of this sock, I'm really proud of my tension. I think my tension is really even, it's not pulling in. Lord only knows what happened when I got to the foot. I don't know if I just got carried away, I don't know if I just stopped paying attention, but clearly my tension is very different. If I pull it out slightly, it does even out. And when it's on the foot, it evens out. So I'm not going to block them again, because I don't want them to get to be too big, because they're already a little bit big, which is a little bit annoying that I've knit a pair of socks and they're slightly too big. But because they're all over colour work, I don't want to rip them out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, once I've finished both socks, I'll show you the other one in a minute, and woven in the ends, I'm going to try and wear them a couple times. And if they really don't work for me, I will either take off the toe, take out a couple of rows and then re-add the toe, or I will gift them to a friend with slightly bigger feet. This is my second time doing an afterthought heel, I think, and I am not jazzed with it. I think I'm a heel flap and gusset girly, which is crazy because the first time I ever knit socks, I knit a fish lips kiss heel, and then it took me ages to actually try a heel flap and gusset. But I just love the fit. I think they fit your heel really well. They give you the extra space you need to get it over your foot easily. And I just find that an afterthought heel or a fish lips kiss heel just don't give me enough space. I also find I get these little gaps, which I have tried to rectify with like sewing my ends around as well, but I still find that I get these little gaps where the join is, and I get a lot of stretching over the foot. Now that could be because I'm not quite doing them right, but I follow the pattern exactly, and I just think that I don't really like the fit as much as I like a heel flap and gusset. I don't really mind for a sock like this because this is a occasion sock. I'm going to wear it in sort of September, October time. It's not really my colours for the rest of the year, so this is probably going to be an autumn time sock, so I don't mind that much about the fit over the ankle, but I think for most of my other socks now I'm going to do a heel flap and gusset because that's what works best for me. So this is the first one. I've recently cast on the second one, so I thought last night when I was doing it that my tension was better, but I'm looking at it and my tension isn't that great on this one either now. But I have put in my waste yarn for my afterthought heel, and I'm just working down the foot just now. I'm going to try this one on again when I get closer to being done with the foot, just to see if I can remove a repeat and make it fit slightly better, or if I just want to make it exactly the same as this one. So that was a lot longer than I wanted to talk about these socks, apologies, but these are my Colourwork Cuff Club socks by Summerlee Knits, and I'm on the second one. Like I said earlier, today is the 13th of September, so I've got plenty of time to finish that sock off before I move on to my October socks. I always aim to cast on my monthly socks on the 1st of that month if I'm not super busy or working or whatever. So it's my aim to be able to do that this month as well. And I think I am going to be knitting with a pumpkin spice sock set next month, which I'm really looking forward to because it's been in my stash since after October. In October last year, I bought it when we were on holiday in October last year, and it arrived in November, and I've been looking forward to using it all year. So really looking forward to casting that on, but that's next month. So that is my 2 sock whips done. I told you I would spend much more time talking about my whips. Let's talk about a whip that's super easy to talk about because I've barely done anything on it. This is my Pim Pom shawl, also by Laura Penrose. It's a very Laura Penrose heavy episode today. Last time I showed you it, it was almost complete with the increases, and it was on the needles. This is now on try-on tubing, and even my try-on tubing isn't long enough to show you this shawl. But this, if I lean back, hopefully you can see it, is my Pim Pom shawl by Laura Penrose. I put it on try-on tubing because, and I think I mentioned this last time, some of the dye was coming off in my, like rubbing off on my fingers, and I didn't want this to run onto the other colour that I'm going to use for the border. And then when I was doing the last couple of increases, I don't know if I told you this last time, an actual like chunk of dye powder came off in my hand, and as someone that yarn dyes and knows the sort of implications of breathing that sort of stuff in, I was a little bit shocked. So I ran to the bathroom with it and put it down the sink, and then obviously the whole sink turned pink because it was a pink chunk of dye. But it just shocked me a little bit that that was there, but you know, it's fine. I washed it, it's not a problem. I washed this, and pink yarn, pink dye did definitely come off in the sink when I was washing it, so I'm very glad that I did that because I didn't want to dye my whole thing pink. The shawl is looking amazing. It's got so much drape, it's so soft and squishy, like I cannot wait to wear this, but I just haven't picked it up again because I didn't have a cable long enough to tackle the border, which I have now rectified, but I haven't yet cast it on, or cast on the border. The next thing that was a problem is my yarn winder started playing up. I still haven't fixed it, so I couldn't easily wind yarn. And then when I fixed it, the first thing I did was wind up my border colour. So this is the colour I'm going to use for my border. It is by Beehive Yarns. It is in the colour Juicy Fruit, and it is their Dolly base, which is 100% extra fine superwash merino DK. I'm just keeping that in there so I know what it looks like, but this is the colour I have gone for. It's just as speckled as the main colour, but it's got obviously a pink background, and I really liked it when I saw it, and I thought it would go perfectly. So how am I going to show you this? Hold it up like that, and that'll be my border. So it's going to be very feminine, but I think that's super cute, and I'm looking forward to wearing it. So now I've got my cable, my long enough cable, I should be able to get this back on the needles and get the border worked. We are going to a friend's house this weekend, and I might take this with me, although I think because, oh actually I've changed my mind, because it's German short rows and baubles and stuff like that, I think that's too in depth to be taking to a friend's that you haven't seen in a while. So that is my Pim Pom shawl, and we'll see, hopefully I will at least have done the bauble section by the next time we catch up. Just realising I'm putting all of my whips in front of me, and this is where they live, so I'll just put them back as I go. Okay, what is next on the whips? I want to do that one last because I love that one. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, the next one is another autumn love, and it's my Daft Days cardigan by the Creabea. Last time I showed you it, I had made loads of progress and it was looking like a vest, and what I have done since, oh my gosh, chaos, is picked up and started the sleeve. So I am about halfway through the decreases of the sleeve, and I'm starting to get a little bit concerned that this sleeve is going to be too small. It's not quite at my elbow yet, or it might just be at my elbow, and it's already quite like fitted, so I'm gonna try this on properly. I'm actually gonna like take off my fleece, put it on over both my arms and see what we're looking like, and I might stop decreasing for the sleeves, but I think it's looking really nice. I want to get this one done because I really desperately want to wear it this autumn. I think it's the perfect autumn project, but we're already in September and it's obviously just got one sleeve, and I've got an entire button band to do, which I'm just not jazzed about. So I'm slowly working away on this. Now I've got the sort of stitch pattern and everything down, it's really sort of mindless to do, so I have been doing this when we've been watching TV, but with all my other gift knits and all my other exciting projects, it's just not been getting picked up as much as I want to. So I might take this with us this weekend, but the problem is it's got so many little minis I have to take. I have to take a big box with me, and that's a bit cumbersome. So this is also a maybe on the maybe I'll take it this weekend, maybe I won't. But this is my little sleeve, and it's adorable. I am a little bit concerned about one of the colours, or maybe two of the colours, and running out of yarn. So there's a couple of colours that I've had to use like an extra time on everything else, and so I started as far away as possible on the sleeves from using those colours, like literally the other end of the repeat, and I'm working all the way through, so hopefully when I get to those colours I've got the smallest amount of stitches. But my plan is, with the ones I'm really worried about, to split them in. You have to use fingering weight held double, and so it's in 2 little balls. I'm going to split those 2 little balls into 4 little balls, and then if I try and knit the repeat and I don't get all the way through with one of them, I know I'm not going to get all the way through with the other on the other sleeve, and I'll just not include that colour. I'm hopeful that I'll be able to squeeze it out, but I am getting quite close with one of the colours, and I just don't want to risk it, if I'm honest. So I should probably tell you what yarn this is. I didn't tell you what yarn. Oh no, I did. I did tell you the yarn for the last one. This main colour is Woolly Knit. I've got the band here. Woolly Knit 4-ply Classics, which is 100% super soft merino wool, and it's just by Woolly Knit, and it's in the colour Ecru. It looks like this. And then the main, or the contrasting colours, sorry, are by Nervous Fibres, the Nervous Fibres Sad Vent 2022. So I've had this for a while, and I'm looking forward to having it out of stash, because I have this advent, I've got an advent from last year that I want to make into something this year, and I've got another advent coming this year. So I'm trying to get this out of stash because I don't want to have more than sort of one advent still in stash when the next one comes in. So hopefully this will come off. Again, I've not upgraded this into a nicer project bag. My poor Daft Days is still in a wool warehouse mesh bag, but it does protect it from the bugs, so it's not all bad. Let's go to a little one that I started last night. So this is another mini Maxine hot water bottle. I said I was obsessed with them, okay? I told you that. For anyone who doesn't follow Laura, she has put out a test call for the pumpkin spice hot water bottle, which is another hot water bottle cover that's autumn themed. And I applied and I got chosen, and I got alerted yesterday, and I started this last night. And so when I bought the mini hot water bottles for the Christmas one, it came in a pack of 3, so I got a white one with it and I got a blue one with it. So I'm using the white one just to make sure that my hot water bottle cover continues to fit as I'm knitting it. So I'm just going to slide this one on here. And this is what we have so far. So I've just done a little acorn and leaf motif on it so far. Oh, I don't know how close I'm holding it, so apologies if you couldn't see that. And these are 2 of the charts that Laura provides in the pattern. I'm also going to be including one of my own charts that I have from a different pattern in this, and then finishing it off with her charts as well. So I'm using a combination, but this is another mini water bottle cover that will be for me so far. I am really enjoying this. I decided to make life really difficult for myself, so used a million colours on this small section, which means that the inside is a little bit crazy, and it's not the neatest right on the edges, so I'm going to go back and fix that in post, if you will. And I'm also just going to rein my neck in a little bit on the amount of colours I'm using. So again, this main colour is 2 fingering weight held double. It is just an undyed skein I had for dyeing up yarn. The little brown acorn colour is again Brittle Gill by Nervous Fibres because I had some left over. The dark brown on the top is woolly knit, 100% merino wool in brown, no idea, can't remember. Made my care sweater with it. The dark green colour is Drops Merino Extra Fine. The sort of yellow colour in the middle of the leaf is, it's by Layer Yarn, and it's a little, they sent me some in the post because I was unsure if it would be soft enough for my skin or if I would have a reaction, and it sat in my, the jumper I had in mind, I'd miscalculated how much it was going to be, and it was going to be way out of my budget, so the little scrap has sat in my stash, and I finally decided just to put some of it in here. So the little yellow is Layer Yarn. And then I've got a bunch of other scraps down here that I want to use for the rest of this, but I will speak about them next time probably, because I'm not going to go through all, there's like 8 of them, I'm not going to go through them all now. But like I said, cast this on last night. Fully think that this is going to rattle up quickly. I'm probably not going to take that this weekend because it's colour work and I won't pay attention to my friends, which is the whole point. So I won't take that this weekend, but it will be done pretty soon. The test is only 2 weeks, I think, because it's for a mini anyway, it's a very small accessory, so it will be done by the next time we speak, but I'm so glad I got picked for the test. Thank you so much, Laura. I obviously am a huge fan of her patterns, and I'm a huge fan of these mini hot water bottles and all of her hot water bottles, so really glad I got to pick up the pumpkin spice one. That is my hot water bottle whip that I've got going on. Just gonna put it down there for now. And we only have 2 more whips left, and I'm gonna leave the best one till last. This is my second last one. This is a bag by Lysander and Olive, which I think is closed down now, but it's very seasonal. It's an autumnal inspired bag. I bought 2 of these last year, gifted one to my mum, and I'm very sad that I did because I'm obsessed with both of them, but I can only use so many project bags, so my mum has one of these as well. And this is housing what I am dubbing my pumpkin spice Lillehammer pullover. Now, last time I got a comment asking me who the designer was, and I believe her name is Ellis Knitwear on Instagram. If I've got that wrong, I'll put it on the screen. But I'm taking part in a test for her Lillehammer pullover, which is an all-over colourwork sweater. It is 80s inspired, so it's oversized, and hers is this beautiful blue and grey combination. I am knitting the size 4, which is a size bigger than what I would traditionally do for my size, but I really wanted to test and it was the only size she had available, so I put myself forward for it. So this is going to be a very oversized jumper on me, but I don't mind. I think it's kind of, it goes with the vibe of what the jumper wants it to look like. I am knitting this in Drops Daisy in these 2 colours. So the top one is Lemonade and the bottom one, I can't remember what it's called, but it's just the bright orange. But the top one is definitely the colour Lemonade. And Drops Daisy, for those that don't know, is an 100% wool. It is meant to be sort of a dupe for Peruvian Highland wool, but it's significantly softer, which does mean it pills like crazy. I know that. I'm aware of that, I'm committed to that, because the softness of this is just amazing. And it's non-superwash as well, which is great to have a non-superwash alternative from Drops. So it doesn't quite have that shiny look that the Extra Fine Merino does, which means I'm really happy to use it for a full project. So this is my Drops Daisy, and this, again, is on probably too small a cable to show you the whole thing, but this is my Lillehammer pullover test. So I knit some of this last night and I've just gotten to, let me find it, I've just gotten to halfway through the first sort of snowflake repeat, and I think it's looking really, really good. I worked really hard on trying to keep my ribbing neat, and I think overall I did a really good job. I'm really pleased with that, and I'm obsessed with the colour choice. I'm really glad I went for a bright colour. As you can see, I wear bright colours a lot, and a lot of the time I find myself knitting with a bit more neutral colours than I maybe would buy. I don't know if I'm inspired or I don't know if I feel a little bit nervous to try bright colours because a lot of the knitting community don't do that bright colours, but slowly I've been finding people that do. I've just recently found the Smash Knits podcast on YouTube. Love her. Obsessed with her. So been watching that. I watched 2 episodes yesterday. So if you haven't seen her, she's an Australian podcaster. She does so many beautiful bright colours and I'm obsessed with it. So please go and check her out, little sideline. But I decided to branch out and just do it. Just cast on in a bright colour and see how I get on. And I'm really loving it. I haven't been picking it up as much as I want to, especially considering it's a test, because it's very, like I have to read the chart for every single section. And it also has some rows that have catching floats, which is not my favourite thing to do. So I haven't been picking it up as much as I want to, but I really want to get cracking with this because it is a test and I would love to have it done within the Fallfeelskal. My lovely friend Rebecca of Moving Stitches is doing a cal called the Fallfeelskal. I'm sure you've seen it. She's doing it with Jackie Makes, I think is her YouTube name. Apologies if that's wrong. But my friend Rebecca's doing her cal and I am taking part, so this is my entry to the Fallfeelskal, but that finishes before the test finishes, so I would love to have this finished ahead of time, so I need to get cracking with it. But the yarn is so soft and squishy. I think it's going to be the perfect autumn winter jumper and really like spring. It's a bright colour, so I'm going to wear it the whole time. I'm knitting this on a 5mm needle, which I think is bigger than what the pattern says because I needed to do that to get gauge when I did my gauge swap, but I would be lying if I said I knew that for sure. But this is my Lillehammer test. Really enjoying knitting it. I just need to commit some more time during the day when I'm actually like, oh, I've dropped a stitch. Panic while I've dropped a stitch. Pull my needles out further. Yeah, I need to give myself some more time at weekends to knit during the day when I'm not tired, because I think the other problem is in the evening. Like I knit this last night after work and I was quite tired and I could feel myself starting to worry about making mistakes. So it needs to be a daytime knit and I just need to commit some time to it. But this is my Lillehammer. And then my final whip has had a lot of progress since last time we spoke, and it's in my mood bag. And it's my porcelain sweater and I cannot wait to show you this. It's not even currently attached to needles because I finished the body. So last time I showed you it, I was working on the neckline and I'd only done the 2 colour work motifs, but she's a whole like vest. Oh, I've got a really itchy nose. Nah. This is the porcelain sweater by Lillehammer Samsol, I think, or Linnet on Instagram. I was about here when I showed you last time and I was doing the neckline. I finished the neckline, I finished the body, again worked really hard on my ribbing tension and making my ribbing neat, and then I did a sewn bind off, which at the moment is looking a little bit like wiggly waggly, but when it's on it doesn't, and I'm hoping when I block it, it will get rid of that waviness. But as you can see, this is where a lot of my time has gone because I'm obsessed with it and I really want to have it for this autumn winter. I now need to pick up the sleeves and I just haven't done that yet because I decided I wanted, as my Daft Days has been on the needles significantly longer, I wanted to get at least one sleeve of my Daft Days done before I would pick this up and try and do this. This is knit in Kinross 4-ply is the light grey main colour, and that is being held with a yarn I got from Ravelry D-Stash, which is a mix of cashmere, silk and merino, I believe. No, just cashmere and silk. 78% cashmere and the rest silk, I believe. And that's my sort of main grey colour. And then the blue here is dystopic fibre in the colour Cobalt Crush, and it's being held with Tilia in their colour Cobalt as well. I think it makes a really good colour combination. I think now the whole thing is knit up, I'm not worried at all about the sort of fuzzies making the colour work look less striking. I think you can definitely see the colour work, it's definitely striking. And I know I've been looking forward to showing this, but I don't have that much to say about it other than I'm bloody obsessed with it. And I can't wait to finish it and have it and wear it, and it's so soft. I just want to do this all the time because of that cashmere, it's just so soft and comfortable, and I can't wait to wear it this winter and then wear it every winter and all times forever after that. Don't have anything anything to say about the pattern? Not really. The pattern doesn't hold your hand, so like if you kind of have to have an understanding of construction before you would knit this. And you also have to obviously be comfortable knitting in colour work. The first colour work section is back and forth, which this is the first time I've ever done back and forth colour work. Was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Kind of the same as when you first do colour work and you think, oh my god, this is going to be awful, and it's not as bad as you think. And I don't think my gauge has changed that much from doing it in the round and doing it flat, so it's a good one to learn, I think. And I've not had any issues with the pattern, so I'm not going to say anything bad about it or anything. Like, it's just been a good pattern, I think. Yeah, the charts are a little bit, my only criticism of the pattern is the charts are on the back page and they're small. So when I printed them out, they were teeny tiny. So now I'm having to expand them on my iPad, and then I just use the ruler with my Apple Pencil and mark off the rows. So now I've done that. That's the only criticism of this pattern so far. So good, and I'm just so pleased with it. And this is where a lot of my time has been going, which is why some of my other whips haven't had that much progress. So that is my porcelain. Big fan, big fan. And it's reignited my love for this bag as well. I feel like I hadn't been using this bag that much, and it's just been sitting around upstairs, but it's perfect for this jumper because when I'm knitting, all of the 4 balls I'm using stay in the bottom of this bucket, and I can just knit and I know that they're not on the floor or anything like that. Because the one time I did take my Tilia out and put it on the floor, my dog picked it up in his mouth. And he is a seasoned knit dog. He knows not to pick up my yarn, but for some reason the Tilia was just too exciting for him and he put it straight in his mouth. So now they live strictly in here because he won't go into the bag to get them. But I think just because I lifted it and put it on the floor, he was like, ooh, for me? Right. We have some acquisitions. I didn't realise how many acquisitions until I picked them all up and put them here for the podcast. So we're going to start with a gift. My lovely friend Rebecca of Moving Stitches, who I've already mentioned, and I decided to swap some yarn. Rebecca very recently moved back to Spain, and that means I don't see her at knit night, and I haven't been at knit night in a long time, but I don't get to see her anymore, so we decided to swap some yarn, and we're going to knit the Celeste mittens together. So I received my package. I'm just checking my address isn't on there. I received my package from Rebecca, and I just wanted to show you guys what I got. So the first thing I got, I actually chose, and I knew she was sending to me. And this is the cotton bambulino. She spoke about using this yarn in her podcast, and I just really liked the way it looked, so I asked if she would get me some and send me some over. So this is called Cotton Bambulino, and it's by, I'm not going to say that brand. It's in the colour 00065, and it is 60% cotton, 30% viscose, and 10% linen. You get 160 meters in 50 grams, and I got it in this light blue colour. And I decided I wanted to knit a summer top. Now, when we organised this, it was sort of June time, and we only really just got round to it end of August type, or I certainly didn't send mine till recently, although I know she's got it now. So I'm not going to knit another summer item because I'm over summer and I'm very much in the depths of autumn, but I have this to knit next year. So I got 5 balls of this, and she sent me this over. And then she sent me a lovely little note, which I'm not going to show you guys because it's a note between Rebecca and I, but she sent me yarn for the Celeste mittens, and I'm going to keep it in the packet because that's the easiest way to show you them all at once. But this is the lovely colours that she chose. Some beautiful pops of sort of reddy pink. I love this green, and I can't wait to knit on them, to be honest. I think most of these are fingering, so I think they'll need to be held double, but this is the colours that she chose for me to knit the Celeste mittens. So this will be on my action plan for the next couple of months, particularly as it starts to get colder. And then, because she's a ridiculously amazing friend, she also sent me a main skein of yarn, which I didn't know I was getting, and it is just bloomin' stunning. It is, oh gosh, El Robledal de la Fanta? Unknown. This is the name of the brand. And it looks like it's called Lilada, but I wouldn't be wrong if I'm most likely wrong. And it's 100% superwash blue-faced Leicester. So it's a fingering weight yarn, it's 100 grams for 400 meters, and it's a beautiful like purple with purple speckles, and it's got some greens and orange speckles and stuff in it too. I'm hopeful that you guys can see that when I'm holding it up. So I really love this main colour. I really love how it feels considering it's Blueface Leicester, and it's such a beautiful colour with the speckles in it. So thank you so much, Rebecca, for all of my treats that I got. I'm just going to wrap this up, excuse the sprinkles. I know that Rebecca just received hers last night because she sent me a video, so I can't wait to knit the mittens together, and I think it's going to be a great little across seas partnership for that. What is next on the agenda? Let's go for this one. Apologies for all of the crinkles that you're going to hear. Unless you have, well, as I've already mentioned, I'm a fan of Laura Penrose, and Laura posted about a yarn dyer from down south called James Makes Yarn. And since then, I followed James, and that's actually how I found about his yarn, was through Laura. And recently he did a Beanie Babies colourway, which was amazing. He's done a bunch of other bright colours, which are just beautiful. But he did recently a charity skein, and I decided to make my first purchase with him. The money is going to charity, and all of the information is on his social media, so I'm not going to try and repeat it here because I don't want to get it wrong, but on his social media he has a post about exactly who the money was going to. But I decided to purchase a skein of yarn from him. I don't think he sent any information about the actual thing over. No, just some stuff about the wool show. But this is the colour that I got from James. James makes beautiful sort of, like this whole skein comes across as pastel, but when you actually look at it, this is quite a vibrant pink that's in there, and I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he makes pastel look, bright colours look this beautiful and muted, but it's a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. It's called Walking Primrose, and when I saw it online, I couldn't say no to it, particularly when I saw the money was going to charity. So it's got these beautiful yellow and red speckles in, and it's this gorgeous bright pink. I'm not quite sure. This would make a beautiful Musselburgh hat, it would make amazing socks, it would make amazing mittens. I'm not sure what I'm going to use it for, but I had to have it. So I purchased this from James. And then the other thing I have that I've ordered online is from Giddy Yarns. I decided sort of 3 months into the year that I would have loved to take part in their rainbow mini club that they're doing, and I saw a post on her story that said that she had a bunch of leftovers, so I reached out to her and I bought a bunch. So I have like 6 months worth of these minis, and my intention is to make them into either a sweet shop blanket or a Stella quilt blanket, because I am converting a camper van, and I just think that one of those blankets is going to be amazing for when we're in there, and we want to be snuggled up and cozy, which you do when you're in a camper van. So it's my intention to make one of those, and I have been buying the rainbow minis for that exact purpose. So this is the July and August skeins, I believe. So if you haven't seen the July and August, then look away, but I think you probably have, as it's the 13th of September. So these are in plastic packets, so they are going to rustle, so I'm not going to pick them up until I am holding them up in front of you. But the July one was more like a tealy green, and the August one is a bit more of a lighter blue. So this is July. And this is August. So I've been getting the yarn bases in 75-25 fingering weight, and you get 85 meters per 20 grams, so enough to knit the all of Laura's Stella quilt cushion, Stella quilt blanket, and sweet shop blanket, because I would just hold them double. So that is my two Giddy Yarns ones. And then I do have two more acquisitions. This one isn't yarn, so I'll go into this one first. Sorry, I flashed my address, so I had to cut that out and start again. This one is from Tribe Yarns, and Tribe Yarns recently moved from London up to Fife, which is where I am, and I've recently purchased quite a few things from them. Not any yarn, but a lot of notions and things, and needles. So as I have a lot on the needles at the moment, I have noticed that I'm really running out of cables, and or I don't have the right size and I'm trying to stick two together and it's just a nightmare. So I decided to buy myself a bunch of brand new cables. And when I say a bunch, I mean a whole bunch. This is my hobby. I knit all the time. So I decided treating myself to some notions wasn't that big a deal. So I got 2 sets of the small needle end stoppers because I was going to buy an additional set of needles, and then I thought I can only knit with 1 set of needles at a time. So actually having end stoppers means I can just take the needles off one project and put them on the other one. So I got some more of these because I only had 1 set, I think, and I've got 2 sets, but one's on a resting whip from like last year at some point upstairs. So now I've got some more to use. And then I have 2 Chow needle sets. One I share with my mum, which is their mini set. It's a red set that has sort of sock size needles, and then I have the set that goes from 2.75 up till 5 that I got for my birthday. So I got 2 new cables for the mini ones. Where are they? Because you do have to have different cables for the different sizes of needles. And I got a 60cm and an 80cm cable for those. Mainly thinking if I wanted to do magic loop socks, I could do that with these long cables. And then I got, for my small set, 1 of every size of cable they do, from 40cm all the way up to 130cm. And I took one out to use last night, so there is one missing from here, but I purchased these as well. And I think when these arrived, I didn't quite realise how many I had purchased when I put them in my basket, but they're definitely, I'm going to use them. It's definitely worth it. And I think sometimes we sort of reluctantly buy those things for ourselves, but you need them. You can't just always buy pretty yarn and not have enough cables and stuff to knit with. So I definitely needed them. So I purchased them. Now I've got 1 more acquisition left. I'm gonna go and grab a glass of water because I don't know if you can tell, but I've been a bit nasally and I feel like my throat's getting a bit sore. So I'm gonna grab a glass of water, come back and do the last acquisition before we sign off. Back. And I forgot about this, so I'm gonna talk through it a little bit. I made myself a project bag. I'm incredibly proud of this project bag and I love it. And it's festive, so don't judge me. But it's also housing some yarn that I bought recently, so I thought I would show you at the same time. This is entirely inspired by the construction of my bag from Joy to Stitch. Her construction with the roll top is inspired by, and also the Stella quilt cushion. It's not inspired by that because it is a quilt block, but that sort of, all of those motifs have been floating around the knitting ether, so it is inspired by that. And this is my project bag that I made, and I am so obsessed with it. It's so beautiful, so neat. This fabric here is like a harder wearing, I don't even know what it is, I got it in a bargain bin, but it's this glittery sort of white herringbone fabric. And then these I just had in stash, a green snowflake one and a red star one, and I just made a quilt block with them. And then on the back, I didn't want to make another quilt block, so I just did some quilting, some basic quilting with the red and green striping. Like I said, it's a roll top with a popper, and I'll show you the inside in a minute, but it's got a box bottom, so I hope you can see it over here. It's got a box bottom and it's blooming beautiful. I'm obsessed with it. I think I did a really good job of keeping it all neat, and I can't wait to use it this winter. But I just wanted to show you it because I made this and it should have been in the FOs and it wasn't, and I'm just unbelievably proud of it. I think it is so good. So when you pop the top of this, it does, I'll give you a sneaky peek as to what's in there, but it has a lovely bright red Christmas pudding fabric as the lining as well, just to make it extra festive. And this is housing some yarn that I bought last week. I took Friday afternoon off last week. Oh no, I had the whole day on Friday off last week. And my partner works a half day on Friday, and we decided to do a date day. And in Fife there is a little town called Pittenweem, which is actually, I think, where Tribe Yarns have moved to, although their shop isn't open yet. And in that tiny town is a yarn shop called the Woolly Brew. And considering both of these places are in Fife, where I live and where the shop is, it's about an hour to get there from here, so it was quite a trek, but we made it into a whole day, and we went to a beach and did a big beach walk with the dog, and then went to a pub and I did some knitting in a pub. I've got a little video of it, so I'll post it here if I can. And we went to the yarn shop, and I went in with some things in mind, and then as soon as I went in, the things that I thought I was going to get, they either didn't have, or I changed my mind when we got there, and I ended up coming away with things I just wasn't expecting. So the first thing I was expecting, and it is a zebra ball. For anyone that's not seen a zebra ball, it comes in this like gobstopper ball, and this is the zebra ball crazy, which I think is the fingering weight version. These are expensive. These are spenny. It's 100 grams, and I think you get 400 meters, although it doesn't actually say in here. And I think the color is 2429. This one. I got Angus to pick this one. Most times yarn shops will have zebra balls in a sort of big bowl, and I got him to go through the bowl and just pick the one he liked the most, and he picked this one, and I really like it. It's got like some bright colours in there, which is very Angus, but it's also overall quite muted, which means he could wear it to work and things. So he picked this, and I'm going to make him a pair of socks out of it. Zebra balls are very expensive for a sock yarn, I guess. I think they're hand dyed. I'm not sure, but it's $15.95 for this ball. And because it's 100 grams, for a pair for Angus, I could get a long pair for him and maybe a short pair for me out of this, or an extra long pair for him, whatever he wants. But these, I have knit with one of these before in the sport weight version, and I really liked it, and I have a fingering weight one upstairs that I've not cast on for myself yet, which is in a purple. So I really like these, and I knew I wanted to get another one, and I let Angus pick one for himself. So this was my first purchase. And then the rest of my purchases are all from the same brand, which is a bit unusual, and it's also a brand I've only ever purchased one skein from before, and it was just to try, and it was from a yarn shop in Aberdeen, and it's in a grey colour, and I've not knit with it. It's upstairs. Now that I've stopped saying all those things. This is the company called Coop Knits, and it is their yarn, which is the Socks Yeah, and I purchased a skein of their sock weight version. So this is 75% fine superwash merino, 25% nylon. You get 212 meters for 50 grams, and it's a machine washable, non-tumble dry, and this is in the colour Ruby. And there was so many of these beautiful skeins that I picked up 3 or 4 and then changed my mind and decided I couldn't buy 3 or 4 of these. So this is like a raspberry pink colour, and I really, really love it. I think it's beautiful, and I had to have this one. So it's the Socks Yeah by Coop Knits, and it's so soft, and I really like it. So I'm hoping it wears well. But I picked up this. And then the rest of these are the Coop Knits Socks Yeah, but in DK. So the Willy Brew had a Moonwake cowl by Andrea Mowry. And when I saw it, I just was drawn to it. And I've never knit a cowl, and I didn't think I was a cowl person, but I saw it on the back of their chair and I thought, oh, I really like that. And then I felt it, and it was just so unbelievably soft. And I really wasn't expecting to love that as much as I did. And then they have a little tag on there that tells you exactly what they used, and they said they used 4 skeins of this Coop Knits Socks Yeah DK. And so I spun around, saw the shelf, and just fell in love with some of the colours. So I decided I was going to knit a cowl. I didn't know if I was going to knit the Moonwake cowl, and I haven't yet decided what cowl I'm going to do, but I am going to knit a cowl in it. And I bought 5 colours to knit with. So I think this was it's either $6.75 or $6.95, so it wasn't too expensive. But I ended up getting 5 colours of this. Let me put this down. And let me try and show you it at the ends that don't have labels, so you're not just getting a big old bunch of labels in your face. I bought these 5 colours, and I'm just obsessed with them. This sort of colour here is my favourite colour, this like tealy blue, and then I thought all of these colours just played so well together, and this like bright greeny one, moss green, is very in fashion at the moment, and it's also very me. I love blues, really easy to wear, so this is what I picked out, and I will tell you what each colour is. So This colour is stunning. It's like heathered. It's got a bunch of different colours inside of it. And this colour is called Wandle. The classic greeny, mossy greeny colour that everyone is knitting with at the moment is the colour Aeacus. A-E-A-C-U-S. Aeacus? Don't know, but that's that one. This brilliantly bright blue colour is called, Anemoy. A-N-E-M-O-I, Anemoy. And then this stony blue, again, another really beautiful heathered one. It's like a grey light blue. This is the colour Fleet. And then finally, this gorgeously deep navy is the colour Astra Planetti. Astra Planetti. I don't know where this brand is from, and therefore I may be butchering these, but I think it's Astra Planetti. But yeah, so this I definitely was not expecting to get. Oh, the lighting has just changed dramatically. That's what I get for filming in the morning. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's really changed. It's now dark in here. It's meant to be getting lighter. It's the morning. It's not meant to be getting darker. Anyway, I'm about to finish up, so apologies if this is now terrible, but hopefully you saw these before. But yeah, these are my soon-to-be a shawl project. They're super duper soft. I'm really glad I picked them up. And they're just living in this bag in my living room just now. Oh, the light's coming back now. Because I'm trying to keep, when I buy new yarn, I'm trying to keep it out of my yarn room for a little while just to double check that it's not got bugs in it or anything. Not that I think any of this will, but I am keeping it a little bit separate. So this has been living in our living room just now, just in this nice neat bag. And I'm going to be casting on that cowl soon once I get my ball winder fixed, because those colours and the feel of that yarn is just amazing. So that was my last purchase. I didn't think I'd purchased that much since the last episode, but the Giddy knits I'd purchased before the last episode, they just hadn't arrived. That yarn I obviously got in person. I did order the James yarn, and I just ordered the Tribe stuff, so I did make a few orders. Oh well. I guess the only other thing to talk about then is actually something I probably should have talked about at the beginning, and that's what I'm wearing, which is a sewing finished object. And it's one of my new fleeces. I think I showed you the blue one before. I just made myself another one this week. It's super cozy. I really like it. As I said, it's freezing here at the moment, so definitely needed a fleece. And it's just a different colour. So I've spoken about this before. I'll leave the information on the pattern down below. I got the fleece from Weaver D Fabrics, which is a Newcastle-based yarn, a Newcastle-based fabric shop, I think. And my mum and my sister just bought, and it's sitting over there, a massive stack of fabric for me to help them make some fleeces for themselves. But my sister has this one in the reverse, so she has pink on the top and yellow on the bottom, and then I got enough fabric to make myself like the opposite version. So I did that this week, and it's got a little rainbow zip pocket on it, and then inside I used a Tula pink fabric, a little purple hexagon fabric, so I really love it. Like I said, finished it yesterday. I wore it all of last night, and it was the first thing I put on this morning, so I think I'm obsessed with it. And it's super comfy, and I should have spoken about it at the beginning, but I didn't, and I'll put all the information down below on the pattern that I used, but it's just super duper comfy. The only thing I did differently to the first one that I knit is I used fleece for the cuffs rather than this sort of binding stuff, because it was easier, I think, and it creates a nicer finish in my opinion, so I did that. And for this one, I also, don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but I added elastic to the bottom hem just to pull it in a little bit, because I'm making a 2XL in this, which is way bigger than the size that would fit me normally, but I love an oversized fleece. I think it's super comfy, and I love that my partner and I can share them as well. So I put elastic in the bottom to pull the hem in, and I'll try and put a video of me in it so you can see it on the screen as well. But it's super cozy, and I need it for this winter, so I'm enjoying it a lot. My goodness, I feel like I've just spoken for ages and ages, and this is probably a long one again, but I do actually need to hop off because it is almost time to start work, and I need to go and make sure I've eaten something before we jump on a call. I've got a lovely call starting first thing this morning, and then I have to come off that one and go immediately on to another one. So I need to give myself and my voice a break before I go and do all of that today. I hope you're having a lovely day. I hope you're having a lovely weekend. I'm hoping to get this out, but I don't know if I'll manage to do it before I go away to my friends. But if not, have a lovely day, whatever day it is. I hope you're enjoying your autumn making. I hope you're taking part in some of the amazing cals that are going on at the moment, and watching a lot of podcasts. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm just so inspired at the moment. I just want to cast on all the things. I want to be knitting all the time, and when I do other things, like I've got a book I want to be reading and I just can't read because I'm knitting so much. And yeah, I just hope you're feeling as inspired as I feel at the moment. I hope you're doing well with your mental health. Like I said at the beginning, I had a bit of wobble with mine recently, but the difference a week can make is amazing, because now I have a fresh head, a fresh perspective, and I'm feeling so much better. So if you are in the trenches right now, please know it does get better. And I know that you probably hate people saying that to you, but it will get better. It'll continue to get better. And that your feelings are temporary. This is a huge thing that helped me recently, knowing that feelings will pass and feelings will change. So although it feels awful right now, and I'm sure it really does feel terrible, because that's how I feel when I'm in the bad place, but you didn't always feel like this. There was a time before this when you felt better. There will be a time again when you feel better again. And I do not envy you. I hope that you have a good support system around you. If not, then please feel free to watch my videos, try and find them. Hopefully they bring you a little bit of joy. I would usually say reach out to me, but just with the space that I'm in with my own mental health, I don't think it's sensible for me to offer support for other people when I need to be working on myself, so I'm not going to do that this time. But please do take some respite in hopefully these videos. There is 14 other ones if you want to go and watch them. And I will get that gift knit video out in October. I'm not sure if it'll be before the next podcast or after, but we'll see. So there might be a gift knit video coming from me very soon. But I'm going to stop waffling because I don't know how long this has been. I hope you enjoyed your knitting time. Please let me know down below what you were knitting. If you want to hear more from me, you can find me on Instagram at designs.madebyjo. I'd love to hear from you and have you over there. I would love if you could subscribe. We have just hit, or I think we hit it last time, 500 subscribers on YouTube, which is amazing. So if you enjoy the video, please do feel free to subscribe and give me a like, so I know that everyone's still happy with the content I'm producing. Leave a comment down below if you want to chat to me. I would always love to chat to people. I comment quite a lot on other people's YouTube videos, and I just think it's a great community space to catch up, so please feel free to do that, or drop me a message over on Instagram. I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, have a great day, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.